Good morning and welcome to TF News. We are currently watching the world completely shut down. It is wildly unknown the way these kinds of viruses work. So today we're going to be analyzing different management methods put into place throughout different regions of the world and how they have taken care of the situation. We also think it's very important not only to talk about the well-known SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19, but about viruses in general since they have been present throughout our entire lives. Now we will be communicated with our epidemiologist, Sue.
Thanks to TF News for the invitation. And yeah, as mentioned, there's information about viruses in general that you may be shocked about. Starting off, we talk about two main characteristics that you can find in coronaviruses. Firstly is a zoonotic virus, or zoonose, meaning that it can be transmitted between different species. Viruses have the necessity to infect a susceptible host so they can be able to reproduce. But to infect successfully, they have to face immune responses. So they evolved millions of years ago to develop certain interactions with their host. They form like a protein membrane that encloses all of their genetic material. This cover is meant to bond with some receptors in our cells so that they can slip in their genes. This works kind of a key and lock system. Inside of the cell, they'll reproduce as much as possible until they break out of the cell to repeat their infection process within our cells and even our congeners or other species. As viruses reproduce a lot and rapidly, there is more chance for them to acquire random mutations. Most of them are merely insignificant, but some will enable some enzymes that can be compatible with the receptors of other species. These can be even more viable if the species are closely related in terms of ancestry. These interspecies viruses are called zoonotic, and the main problem about it is that they keep transmitting to other individuals and reproducing. So therefore, the chances of developing other mutations increase, making it even harder to treat the diseases they cause. As mentioned before, retroviruses have the amazing capacity to slip in their genetic material and then control the cell to produce more of it. Thanks to the enzyme reverse transcriptase, which can turn viral RNA into DNA, that then attaches itself to the cell's DNA. This piece of DNA can act dormant, but however, this segment will still be copied for mitosis in somatic cells. But the incredible part comes when the virus infects our germline cells, or embryo cells. As a cause of this, the virus genes will be passed to the host offspring, going on from generation to generation. They'll become affixed in our genome. We tend to demonize viruses as they're often related to cause diseases, but some of them have been proved to be beneficial and even have co-evolved with us, given us certain crucial traits. These viruses receive the name of human endogenous retroviruses, or in short, HERVs. And through human evolution, HERVs have played a fundamental role in the development of the immune system even since the embryo stage, and some contain the stage of pluripotent cells. They potentially gave rise to the mammalian placenta and all placental mammals, including us humans. HERVs might also lead to understand the nature of certain diseases and make cures. In fact, it may sound shocking, but the totality of our genetic material, our genome, is made out of an 8% of viral genes. For this reason, it is so important to be informed about them.
Thank you for informing us, Sue. This was clearly crucial information for the public knowledge. Right now, our reporter Sarro is in Guayaquil, Ecuador. Sarro, tell us about the current circumstances.
Thanks for contacting me. I'm here in my house in Ecuador because of the social isolation. Ecuador is one of the most infected countries in Latin America of COVID-19, and this is because of the lack of preventive measures at the beginning of the pandemic. The citizens didn't take the necessary measures to avoid the spreading of this virus. They required 2 meters of distance where exceed, the use of masks, the disinfection of the products, the priority for seniors. All of these basic things were not happening here. We even see images where people die on the street because they were sick and they were not treated because the services were not enough to attend them. The current state of the city has improved because the government has started a plan of penalties which are generated when someone doesn't respect the prevention measures. This should have been an act that was carried out at the beginning of the pandemic as in most of the countries for preventing massive deaths. A lot of these situations are created because most of the people don't know the origin of this type of virus. Wildlife in this situation is a very important factor. Wet markets, especially in eastern countries, are a source of disease when it comes to selling and consuming. Wet markets that sell live animals can risk creating the type of dangerous conditions where viruses can spread from animals to humans due to the close quarters and potential unsanitary practices, especially if they keep rare animals or those captured from the wild. After SARS, authorities in several provinces tried to tackle the wildlife trade, banning the sale of some animals such as rabid cats and snakes, but many of these bans either weren't enforced or were quietly removed. In response to the coronavirus pandemic, the Chinese government temporarily banned the use of wildlife for food the last February. It's currently drafting a permanent law to further tighten controls. According to the Chinese state-run media, at least 94% of the mainland Chinese wet markets have been reopened the last 22 of March, which is not a great advance for the world population. Thanks for listening to this important information, and we are back to the central studio with Stufa.
Alright, thank you very much, Sara. And now, to finish up, we are going to dismantle the myths about viruses. There might be a lot you don't know about them. And for that, Balenciaga will be in charge of it.
Thank you, Sofía.
There has been a lot of false claims and information circulating around the internet regarding COVID-19. Celebrities spreading inaccurate information like treatments and health methods that have not been proved to work and could even make the situation worse is not uncommon when a crisis strikes. Here's a few examples. Chef Pete Evans was selling a $15,000 light machine claiming it could treat COVID-19. Up next, we have J.K. Rowling. She posted on her Twitter account that she had had all the coronavirus symptoms, even though she hadn't been tested, and shared a video of what she claimed had helped her get better. The video consisted of a doctor from the Queen's Hospital in the UK explaining a breathing technique that included controlled coughing. Other members of the medical community warned people that this technique had not been proved to work, plus coughing would help spread the virus. Now, let's see what happens when you mix a shortage of face masks, desperate people, and social media together. This post went viral, promoting the use of microwaves to sanitize face masks. This was found to be both unreliable and dangerous. Up next, our team decided to ask our audience a few questions to get a grasp of their beliefs regarding the outbreak. Let's take a look at the results. 87% of our audience believed that COVID-19 was not part of a biological war between nations, and only 13% believed this statement to be true. 83% of our audience said they would get vaccinated against COVID-19, and 17% said they wouldn't. As for our last question, we asked our audience if they believed that the virus outbreak had been planned, and 32% answered yes.